History remembers him as the man who washed his hands while an innocent man was sentenced to die. But what if the story did not end at the cross? After Jesus' execution, strange rumors began to spread across the Roman Empire about Pontius Pilate. Some claimed he was haunted. Others said he was exiled in disgrace. Ancient writers whispered that he took his own life, while still others insisted he became a reluctant believer in the very man he condemned. Tonight, we uncover one of history's oldest mysteries. What really happened to Pontius Pilate after the crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth? And why did Rome suddenly want him gone? Pontius Pilate was not a king. He was a Roman prefect, essentially a governor, sent by Emperor Tiberius to rule Judea around 26 AD. And Judea was a nightmare assignment. The province was politically unstable, deeply religious, and constantly on the edge of rebellion. Roman officials had one primary job there: keep order, no matter the cost. Historical sources outside the Bible, including the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus and the Roman writer Tacitus, describe Pilate as harsh, stubborn, and often brutal. He offended Jewish customs repeatedly. At one point, he brought Roman military standards bearing imperial images into Jerusalem, enraging the population. Another time, he reportedly used temple funds to build an aqueduct. Protesters gathered. Pilate responded with violence. This was not a man known for mercy, which makes the crucifixion story even stranger. According to the gospel accounts, Pilate appeared conflicted during the trial of Jesus. He questioned him. He reportedly declared he found no crime deserving death. Yet in the end, he authorized the execution anyway. Why? Politics. Jerusalem during Passover was packed with pilgrims. Nationalist tensions were already dangerous. A riot during a major festival could destroy Pilate's career overnight. And Rome had little patience for governors who lost control. So Pilate chose stability over justice. He symbolically washed his hands before the crowd, but history never let him wash away responsibility. To Rome, crucifixion was more than execution. It was psychological warfare. Victims were publicly humiliated, tortured, and displayed as warnings to others. The message was simple: challenge Roman authority, and this will happen to you. Jesus should have become just another forgotten rebel. Instead, reports began spreading almost immediately that his followers claimed he had risen from the dead. And worse for Rome, the movement did not disappear. It grew fast. Here is why the mystery deepens. After the crucifixion, Pilate almost vanishes from the historical record. For years, historians wondered why. Then ancient accounts began to fill the gaps. According to Josephus, Pilate's downfall began after another violent incident in Samaria. A group gathered on Mount Gerizim, believing sacred artifacts connected to Moses were hidden there. Pilate saw it as a possible uprising. His troops attacked. Many were killed. This time, however, complaints were sent directly to Rome, and unlike previous incidents, Rome listened. The governor of Syria, Lucius Vitellius, ordered Pilate back to Rome to answer for his actions. That alone was serious. A Roman governor being recalled meant political disaster was already unfolding. But before Pilate arrived, Emperor Tiberius died in 37 AD. And then the trail goes cold. No official Roman record clearly explains what happened next, which opened the door to centuries of rumors. Several later Christian traditions claimed Pilate fell into disgrace and eventually committed suicide. One story says he was exiled to Gaul, modern-day France, where guilt consumed him. Another claims his body was thrown into the Tiber River, but the waters became cursed and violent afterward. According to medieval legends, his corpse was moved repeatedly because spirits allegedly haunted the locations where he was buried. These stories are impossible to fully verify, but they reveal something important. People across generations believed Pilate's end was tragic, almost cursed. Some early traditions took an even stranger turn. In parts of the ancient Christian world, particularly Ethiopian tradition, Pilate and his wife were portrayed sympathetically. Pilate's wife, often identified as Claudia Proculia, appears in the Gospel of Matthew, warning her husband after suffering terrifying dreams about Jesus. Over time, legends grew claiming Pilate eventually recognized who Jesus truly was. In the Acts of Pilate and other apocryphal writings, Pilate sometimes appears conflicted, fearful, or even partially converted. One branch of Ethiopian Christianity eventually regarded him almost as a repentant figure, a stunning transformation from the man tied forever to the crucifixion. For centuries, some skeptics questioned whether Pilate even existed. Then in 1961, archaeologists excavating at Caesarea Maritima uncovered a limestone inscription bearing his name. The artifact, now called the Pilate Stone, confirmed the historical existence of Pontius Pilate as prefect of Judea. The man was real. The trial was real. And somewhere between Roman politics, public fear, and imperial pressure, one decision altered humanity forever. The greatest mystery is not merely how Pontius Pilate died. It is why his name survived when thousands of other Roman governors were forgotten. Because Pilate became more than a politician, he became a symbol, a warning about what happens when power values order more than truth. A man caught between conviction and survival. And for nearly 2,000 years, history has asked the same question. Did Pontius Pilate spend the rest of his life trying to escape the moment that made him infamous? Or did the memory of that day follow him until the very end? If you enjoyed this episode of A Veil of Crime, make sure to subscribe for more historically accurate mysteries, dark history, and untold crime stories from the ancient world to modern times. And if you'd like to support the channel and help keep these stories alive, you can buy me a coffee through the link below. Until next time, some crimes disappear into history, others echo forever.